Hari ini kita akan reaksi video video essay gitu yang dibikin sama Wheezy ya guys. Namanya Modern versus Classic COD Zombies. Ya udah, hari ini aku tuh cuman mau nonton videonya aja dan nanti aku mau kasih reaksinya aku di akhir video. Ya udah, kita langsung aja nonton ya guys. Ini Kino Der Toten deh kalau nggak salah nama-nama.
Zombies in Call of Duty has seen many iterations, several different eras that are unique to itself, whether it's good, bad, or mediocre. But there's two main eras of zombies that we can compare. The classic side with Prime Treyarch, and the modern side with games like Cold War, Vanguard, and Modern Warfare 3. Let's get
Jadi
to all.
kayak apa ya, yang zaman dulu sama yang sekarang kan beda guys. Kalau kalian lagi nggak tahu nih Call of Duty itu situasinya kayak gimana ya, kayak gitu. Jadi yang sekarang tuh beda banget dari yang dulu.
This out of the way. Yes, I do think modern zombies sucks. A lot actually. And I do think
Aku honestly ya pernah main Modern Warfare Zombies yang di Modern Warfare 3 itu. Dan menurut aku tuh itu bagus gitu loh. Aku tuh dulu waktu Modern Warfare 2 pernah keluar, aku tuh suka main ke rumah temen aku dan main Call of Duty Call of Duty Modern Warfare 2 dan ada DMZ kan. Nah DMZ tuh kayak itunya DMZ di convert ke kayak zombies gitu, jadi kayak Modern Warfare Zombies tuh ya Modern Warfare maksudnya DMZ tapi ada zombie-zombinya gitu loh guys. Jadi kita nonton lagi ya.
classic zombies will never be topped. What we should be asking is, what's the big difference? Are we just finding things to be upset about? Are our expectations too high?
Nih, Modern
Vanguard
Warfare
and Modern Warfare 3 have the excuse to be written off because they didn't have much time to be made, which of course would lead to poor results. But whether it's excusable or not, it represents zombies and has damaged the core even further. We've gotten to the point where fans are hoping for more round-based zombies content, but
Jadi kayak dulu tuh ada yang namanya round based zombies, yang zombies biasa. Nah tapi dari kemarin tuh belum keluar gitu loh. Yang terakhir keluar tuh kalau nggak salah di Call of Duty Cold War deh. Nah di Black Ops 6 katanya akan ada guys. Akan ada round based zombies.
it's the bare minimum, isn't it? That should be the easy part. The hard part is building off the established formula. What did they do with Vanguard? Basically, it felt like
Katanya Vanguard tuh jelek gitu loh itunya. Tapi kalau aku nggak pernah main, tapi kayaknya emang jelek deh.
an alternate zombies mode, completely separate from what we know, except for when they released the remaster of Shinonuma with the added extension. It was
Shinonuma
ground-based,
di
and
remaster.
it wasn't half bad, but it came so late. Vanguard had already buried most of the community by that point, and I think most fans just didn't have the right energy going into it. But if they had done this from the start, I don't think it would be perfect, but it might be a good substitution until we got our official Treyarch zombies. From what we had in the past, we had off years from the main zombies experience that we all look forward to, mostly having to wait 2 to 3 years just to see what's next. That was always a huge problem, but with including the mode in almost every game between releases, I'd be perfectly fine with the formula of taking already established zombie maps and just extending them. Adding little bits of content to something we are
Aku tuh suka banget sama kayak Call of Duty zombies gitu. Menurut aku tuh zombies Call of Duty itu bagus-bagus guys.
already familiar with. It'd be something to get us by, but Vanguard fell flat. The entire game felt generic, and this would soon be a problem that plagues Modern Warfare 3 as well. One thing I notice about both games is how crappy everything looks. There's ugly tints thrown on or something that makes them look terrible. A new map back in the day typically meant a new aesthetic. One map you're playing in the freezing cold with the legend George Romero, and the next you're in a jungle with ancient structures and lots of nature. They all popped. They were vibrant and not so dull. They also weren't overcrowded with unnecessary UI. No minimap, no ridiculous kill chains in the middle of my screen, no name tags telling me that what I'm shooting at is indeed a zombie, no RPG health bars, no character portraits showing up every time some actual character in the storyline has something to say, as if subtitles weren't enough already. It's very invasive, and it doesn't let you get immersed into the appeal of zombies. It all becomes about information rather than taking in the map and gaining your own awareness. Whether they add the options to turn off certain elements or not, what's the purpose to begin with? Are we catering to a certain audience? I think we all know what happens when you try catering to another audience. You risk catering to no one. That's where it becomes generic and what people would call soulless. If you were to repeat this formula in the next games to come, then it starts to become really hard to tell what game was which. Modern Warfare 3 is no exception, and I think it's a disservice to even label this as Modern Warfare Zombies when it's clearly just DMZ with zombies in it. I don't mean to ruin anyone's experience if they are having fun with this, or even with DMZ for Modern Warfare 2. That's okay. But I never understood what's so fun about it. There's hardly any real motives. There's no real economy, and many things you pick up are useless. We're on a Warzone map that also just looks dull. This isn't zombies. It's something else with just a few zombies.
Maybe nanti aku akan bikin video tentang Warzone, reaksi aku ke Warzone 3 gitu, kayak opini aku tentang Warzone 3.
Zombie elements thrown in. The storyline I just throw out the window because it's turning into a Marvel universe with all these random crossovers that don't need to be happening. I'm sick of even just displaying this footage on the screen for you all. Let's take a breather and go.
Habis ini aku kayaknya mau nonton video aku udah nonton trailer untuk Black Ops 6 Liberty Falls. Nanti aku akan mau nonton di video ini ya guys. Abis video yang ini selesai, kita nonton bareng yang itu. Biar nanti aku mau kasih tahu menurut aku sekarang dan nanti itu akan kayak gimana Call of Duty Zombies itu akan kelihatannya. Ya dah.
Going to old school zombies for a minute as a comparison example, something a little more pleasant for your eyes and ears.
For time and the world
5. Aku tahu ini.
Change is the law of life, and those who look only to the past or the present are certain to miss the future.
Upload your Unreal Engine projects to the
ini
web,
sih,
and use them
iklan.
on any device, anywhere.
I believe 5 is a great example to compare to. It's not exactly the best of the best, as that would usually go to maps like Origins, Mob of the Dead, Der Eisendrache, and of course others. It was also a bonus map, something for you to enjoy behind the Kino der Toten experience at the launch of Black Ops 1 back in 2010. For a bonus map reusing lots of campaign assets, it was well executed. We have an established cast of characters that are new to the Zombies universe, but ones most of us will likely be familiar with in the real world. They are quite charming.
To retaliate must be
John F. Kennedy.
to deter all forms of aggression.
It's an example of them not needing to rely on characters such as our original crew to make a lovable cast. I always wanted to play as JFK himself.
I am all that stands between the dead and the White House.
Sometimes my influence to pick one
Ini punya di
map from
Pentagon ya?
another could be the cast itself.
Five
What do
tuh
we
kalau nggak
get
salah
in
di
the newer
Pentagon.
titles? Operators. It's always operators. If you were to start over from the beginning, remaking all the Call of Duty zombie games to have operators you choose, just like we do nowadays, what happens? You never get the cast of characters such as Ultimus, the mobsters, and our political figures in 5. But the cast perspective aside, 5 is a visually appealing map. You have strong colors and details placed in each area, with 3 different levels connected by elevators. If you were playing through the campaign previously
Iya,
and
di
noticed
campaignnya
that
ada.
one cool section where you're in the underground part of the Pentagon and thought, wow, this would be cool to explore. Well, at the end of your campaign journey, you realize you do actually get to explore it. We have to remember what I said before. A lot of assets are already being reused. Why can't we at least do that in the newer games so that there is extra time to develop new things such as Easter eggs, an established cast of characters with actual personality, and maybe the possibility of adding nice details into the map to make
Aku tuh waktu itu main apa ya, jadi itu ada early access enggak, jadi kayak ada untuk sementara ini tuh Modern Warfare 3 itu lagi free ya, waktu itu ada deh kalau nggak salah April tahun lalu, enggak, Februari tahun lalu. Nah aku tuh nyoba main itu dan menurut aku DMZ Zombies tuh bagus guys.
it unique from others.
Easter egg di itu kalau nggak salah juga bagus di Modern Warfare Zombies.
5 was able to do this through its unique Winter's Howl weapon and also the Pentagon theme, who was a lot of people's worst nightmare because he'd yoink your gun, making you have to chase him with whatever other weapon you had going through teleporters. This is when it becomes more unfair to compare it to Cold War, because at least that New Age Zombies game had some unique maps and weapons. Cold War is the best example we got of modern zombies, as it's when they started switching up a lot of the main formula. This was a fully developed zombies mode by Treyarch and was supposed to get back on track after Black Ops 4 tampered with some of the core foundations. While it has our favorite perks back and has a main storyline, it's plagued by many problems shared within Vanguard and Modern Warfare 3. Even though we have a storyline, it's led by our favorite characters, the operators. It has the same UI problems, with the screen being overloaded with useless information, making it hard to focus on the environment and your surroundings. It's ruining much of our immersive experience we could be getting from the beautiful maps we are in. I thought the vastly extended Nocturne Totem map in the wintertime was a very aesthetically pleasing map, but that all gets ruined when our screen is constantly occupied with random clutter. It did do well with cutscenes preparing us for the map. I thought the old footage of Russian soldiers exploring this location and uncovering the secrets was really well done. It made me interested in what's going on here while taking an unsettling approach with its
Aku juga kayak suka apa ya, yang kayak history combined with fiction, aku tuh suka gitu-gituan.
build up to
Menurut aku
reveal
tuh
the
bagus
zombies that
untuk
infest
bikin
the
story
area.
yang
But
menarik.
quickly, the Cold War zombies experience got ruined for me, that I no longer was curious enough to continue investing my time into the storyline and replaying these maps countless times. It became a place to grind weapon camos and level up. It felt weird having multiplayer kill streaks, multiplayer characters, and additions such as self-revives, that it made whatever little bits the map had going for it instantly not be worth it. It became boring, and the generic traits overwhelmed the parts that were genuinely unique. You may be okay with those sacrifices, but for me, it just made me stop caring about the mode. It also doesn't help that the storyline gets ripped apart with forcing elements, such as campaign characters, into a universe that should stay separate. I know it's cool thinking of the crossovers, but once you do it, it starts to not be its own universe. That's what Cold War and Beyond has been for me. It now truly feels like another mode rather than a whole other game. Just an extra addition that I would never sink days worth of my time into. To me, it's quite obvious that modern day zombies just isn't it. While some were okay with Cold War, I was not.
Menurut aku Cold War itu tuh bagus guys. Walaupun aku nggak pernah mainin, aku udah suka nonton video-videonya dan menurut aku tuh bagus. Kayak ya zombies kayak menurut aku tuh ini round base kan yang dulu, tapi round base-nya tuh lebih ke modern round base gitu. Dan menurut dia tuh kayak dia tuh kurang suka. Aku juga menurut aku tuh beberapa masalah dengan game-game yang modern itu tuh mereka apa ya, kebanyakan UI gitu. Jadi kalau zombies yang dulu tuh nakutin, beneran nakutin gitu loh. Kalau yang zaman sekarang itu kayak nggak bikin senakutin itu loh. Kayak World at War tuh dulu estetiknya bagus banget menurut aku. Itu doang sih. Ada.
And I don't think it's very comparable to the previous games. I don't mean to discredit the good things the modern games have done, or to demotivate future work into the zombies mode, but to instead point out what my tastes are as a zombies player since day one, and what I think made it last much longer than what developers originally thought it would. With enough care to detail and not putting up with sacrifices to the mode, it can shine once again. Maybe not in the same fashion as before, but in a new era that can at least be remembered in the years to come. The remnants of the zombie community, I still see most of the popularity falling on the older games. Much older games. Is that by luck or timing? I don't think so. I think New Zombies is so bad that people still find great fun in the older ones and would rather consume older content than what we have now. Despite it being much older than our newer iterations, it still proves it is infinitely more replayable.
Oke, itu videonya dia. Nah, sekarang kita akan lihat Liberty Falls. Liberty Falls tuh nanti aja deh. Ya udah guys, makasih sudah nonton. Jangan lupa like, subscribe, dan komen di video ini ya guys. Oke, aku nanti akan bikin video tentang yang Liberty Falls itu. Ya udah, makasih sudah nonton. Jangan lupa like, subscribe, dan komen ya guys. Dadah.